because I don't think it's not that we need to raise awareness about it. That's basically, it's a horrendous set of circumstances that, children and women who are most vulnerable tend to get exposed. I don't want to say it's only women and children, because young males are particularly susceptible to pornography online, and that leads to all sorts of other problems. So maybe just speak to that for the audience, because I certainly want to shed as much light on that and provide support or exposure wherever I can.
Yes, thank you for that. And it's one of those things that it's uncomfortable, right? It's uncomfortable to talk about. There's a lot of guilt and shame carried around that. But if we don't expose the light, especially me as a Christian and a believer, we are called to shine light on the darkness. And so there are great organizations out there. No Trafficking Zone. Jacqueline Aloto is one of my very dear friends. You can look them up there. She's started outside of Houston doing great work. Okay. And then Yako Bouillon's Ministries does a lot. He's out of Dallas, but does stuff on a national scale. But, when you're talking about it's not just for women or children, it's for men and young men as well. Right. I have, like I said, a daughter that's 17, and I was just talking to her and some of her friends about it, that, hey, if you're ever in a situation, please let me know. And because we just heard of a young man, a young teen male that committed suicide because he had been approached by people online. And what they do is they have them, and male and female, do things online with them. And then they say, if you don't give us money, we're going to tell your parents, we're going to share this. So it really is a very serious issue. It does not know, doesn't know geographic bounds or socioeconomic. It affects everyone. And I think one of the main things to know is that it doesn't just look one way. It's not always, sometimes, but it's not always just you're taken and then trafficked. And that does happen, but it can also look like, a quote unquote relationship. And that's hard for people to get their minds around. And that's what's called a Romeo, where they pose as your boyfriend. And then once you're attached to them, they end up trafficking you, and it's hard to get out. And so I think it's important, just like the topic we're talking about today, to just talk about this and learn more about it. And especially so parents can be comfortable talking to their children about it, because they're targeted online, and they're not always, most of the time, they're not even looking for, like you said, porn or looking for these things. But